Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your
Good
Honor.
afternoon, Judge. I know the counter says Miss Champion, but I'm filling in for her. She had an emergency, so any paperwork, anything needs to be addressed to me. And I'm hosting, so I'm a one-man show today. So please
you, Miss
take it
Lewis.
easy. Don't be rushing. Don't go fast on me. Don't say Miss Lewis, don't chat, because I'm not gonna be looking.
Okay, so Miss Lewis, you don't want me to put like names and addresses in the chat?
You can,
Okay.
that's fine. That'll help me out. You know,
Yeah, I
if I
just
don't
wanted to
catch
make
it.
sure because I know it helps, like it makes it easier for you to write everything down. So I
Yeah.
just want to make sure.
Yeah, you can put the names and stuff in there. That's fine, but don't carry a conversation with me.
Okay, got it. Totally understand.
And Judge, your
1
reset
second.
date is gonna be August the 10th.
August 10th. Okay.
And Your Honor, we are going to make a request. We're trying to sort some administrative issues out on position 8, Giorgio Glover. So if we could hold that till further notice, till the end of the calendar. But if I resolve the issue before the end of the calendar, I'll let the court know.
All right, let me mark that down to hold. And August 10th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ready whenever you are.
All right, I heard you say get the show on the road.
Yes, let's get this show on the road.
And Your Honor, good afternoon, by the way, first of all.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good. And second of all, I have Vicky Molina. I need the breakout room with her to speak to her with the Spanish interpreter.
All right, that is position 12,
Yes.
and we'll see what the jail can do down there with it. Hopefully by the time we get to it, you will have had an opportunity to do that. Did you all hear that in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am, but there's no Spanish interpreter on at this moment.
Oh, that would help us, wouldn't it? Okay.
She'll be coming on shortly. It was a last minute call, so she told me that she'll be on.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll get started then and wait for her. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's first appearance before a state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I want to let you know that the reset date for the SAP is August the 10th. And I want to also remind everyone that this entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube, so govern yourselves accordingly. I want to also remind the defendants on this calendar that you have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have a right to have representation at this stage in your case. You also have a right to remain silent. Remember that anything that you state about the facts, the circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. So listen to your attorneys. Who do we have first?
Position 1, Barlow.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004641Y. Brett Barlow, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Offense date 7/27/23. Pretrial.
Yeah, 13 total. Last was 2022. Possession of meth, drug trafficking. That possession of meth, he got a 21 SC 179410 case. On probation for theft by taking. Well, no, that should have timed out. Not sure why they put that on there. 2020 probation, 2020 drug possession, 2019 probation violation. 2019 theft by taking conviction, 2019 possession of a controlled substance, false information arrest, 2018 probation, 2018 fraudulent driver's license conviction, and a 2016 theft by deception. That's it.
All right, State.
Good afternoon, Judge Missy. How are you?
I'm fine.
Can you hear me?
Your connection sounded a little different. Let's see. Come back again, say something.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, that's better. It was sounding like a robot at first. Okay, let's see how it goes. Your
Okay,
connection may
so-
be a little small.
This incident occurred on July 27th of this year at the Mellow Mushroom located at 400 West Peachtree Street. And this is where Mr. Mark Wilford called officers advising that the defendant was on the patio of Mellow Mushroom, not ordering any food and leaning over. Mr. Wilford told officers that the defendant appeared to be on drugs. So Mr. Wilford asked the defendant to leave, and he did, but the defendant returned shortly after. And when he was asked to leave again, the defendant threw water at Mr. Wilford, and he threatened to kill Mr. Wilford. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for the defendant to stay away from Mellow Mushroom located at 400 West Peachtree Street, as well as no further contact with Mr. Mark Wilford and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. PD Melnick.
Yes, Your Honor. My client has lived, has very strong connections to Atlanta, and that we are asking, he's unemployed at this time. We are asking, the bond right now is $1,000, which is essential no bond for him, and we are asking for a $1,000 signature bond.
Okay, I think the state recommended a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Okay. I couldn't hear her.
Yeah, I think your Ms. Bickerstaff, I think your internet is maybe
Unstable.
not.
Do you
Mhm.
mind if let me turn the video off? Can you hear me better now?
Mm. I know we both said.
Let me log off and log right back in.
Okay,
And see if
yeah.
that helps.
Okay,
Okay,
can we finish this case first? Can we-
That's fine.
Okay.
okay. Well, I think Deputy Falk was gonna step in. Yeah, let's let her sign off and come back. Okay. All right, so we agreed that this will be a signature bond. I'm going
Yes.
to make it a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. And I'm going to order the stay away from Mellow Mushroom at 400 West Peachtree Street. No further contact with Mark Wilford. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's all I'll order at this time.
Yes.
That'll be per
Sure.
judge due to the history.
I'm sorry, per judge. All right. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense.
All right, thank you. And let's see if ASG Bickerstaff is trying to sign back in. Who do we have next, Deputy? Let's see if it's not her case.
Your Honor, it doesn't matter. The state's ready on all of them. So if you want
Okay,
to go
you
and
got-
call the next case,
okay.
we can handle it.
Okay, great.
Position 16, Slayton.
All right, this is 23 CR 004684C, Antoine Slayton, charged with 1 count of battery, pretrial.
Uh, 10 total. Last was 2017 probation. You got a 2016 criminal damage to property conviction. That's it.
All right. Stay, let's see.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened July 28th, 2023 at 2350 Cheshire Bridge Road in Atlanta. Officers spoke with Mr. Aaron Jones, who stated the defendant took a cane from him and struck him in the arm with it. Mr. Jones stated he does not know the defendant, and we have had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Jones. He says he reaffirms, does not know the defendant, confirmed the events on the warrant, and stated he has a bruise on his arm, and would like no further contact. We did have an opportunity to look at the defendant's history. We show that he had 3 cycles out of New Mexico and 6 cycles out of Georgia, with the last cycle out of Georgia being a 2017 probation violation due to the fact that he attacked someone that he did not know, and actually he took the cane from Mr. Jones and attacked him with it. We are asking for a $3,500 surety bond, no further contact with Aaron Jones, stay away from 2350 Cheshire Bridge Road, Atlanta, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and we would like to sound for Aaron Jones.
All right, is Mr. Jones on the Zoom? Mr. Jones, Aaron Jones? Don't think he is. All right, Edie Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't know about New Mexico because when I spoke to my client, he states that he's lived here in the Atlanta area for the last 25 years. So I don't know if there's another, it's gotten mixed up, but anyway, Your Honor, my client has been here. His mom lives here. He has really significant ties to Atlanta. And it said he's been here for 25 years. He's unemployed at this time. And we would ask for a $3,500 signature bond through either pretrial or the jail.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. With that $3,000 surety bond, I'm going to order stay away from 2350 Cheshire Bridge Road in Atlanta. No further contact with Aaron Jones. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that'll be it. What do we have next, Deputy? Oh, maybe the others coming in the courtroom.
In the meantime, Ms. Bickerstaff, if you want to test your audio just to make sure it's working.
Guys hear me?
Yes.
This is better?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good.
Position 3, Broadwell.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004674Y. Sean Broadwell, charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and a 2nd count of simple battery. Pretrial.
16 total. 2012 public intoxication, 2011 probation violation, and a freight conviction from 08. That's it.
All right, State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at 48 MLK Junior Drive. And this is where officers overheard a loud yell and a whistle in the area. So the officer decided to drive over to the sounds. And once there, he witnessed the defendant and Mr. Utavius, that's spelled, well, Utavius, that's spelled EUTAVIUS, Teeny, TENNEY. The officer witnessed the defendant and Mr. Teeny about to fight one another. So the officer stepped in and stopped them and told them to separate. The two separated and the defendant came toward the police cruiser and advised the officer that he told Mr. Teeny to stop looking at him. And then the defendant walked toward Mr. Teeny. The two men bumped into one another, and then the defendant punched Mr. Teeny. And so officers arrested the defendant. And while under arrest, the defendant refused to give officers his date of birth. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is the already set bond at $3,600 surety bond. It's $3,000 for the battery and $600 for the willful obstruction charge, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Mr. Teeny, and to stay away from 48 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And I don't believe Mr. Teeny's on Zoom, but if he is, I would like to sound for him.
All right, Mr. Teeny. All right. PD Woodbury,
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
good afternoon.
Mr. Bradwell, he's originally from Albany, Georgia. Judge, he is a disabled veteran. He served in the Army from 89 to 92. He did have an honorable discharge. Judge, our position on this case is that Mr. Tenney was the one that initiated the physical contact with Mr. Bradwell. Mr. Bradwell cannot afford a bond, so we're asking for a signature bond today.
Okay. Well, so was this two strangers, or we don't know the relationship at all between him and the victim?
The warrant doesn't state the relationship, and unfortunately, our victim witness advocate wasn't able to contact Mr. Tenney, so I'm not sure the relationship.
And I believe in the history state that I did not hear any violent history.
Well, Your Honor, the defendant was convicted of an affray charge in 2008. And here we are with another affray 10 years plus later. Or attempted, or.
All right, I'm going to order the $3,600 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. I'm going to order stay away from 48 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and no further contact with Utavius Tenney.
Judge, what's the breakdown of that?
3,000 on the obstruction and 600 on the battery. Did I say 3,600 or 3,500?
I think it's
36.
36.
36.
So
$600.
$600 on the simple battery and 3,000 on the obstruction.
Correct.
The SOB through the jail.
SOB jail. Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Your Honor, the Glover case, we don't need to leave it to last. We were able to rectify the issue. It doesn't have to go next, but it's not like
Okay.
it doesn't have to be left. So
Okay. Thank you.
Position 9, Gray.
This is 23 CR 004688B, Ramesh Gray. Charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, the 2nd count of cruelty to children in 3rd degree, pretrial.
I got first arrest.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, position 9 has a co-defendant, position 5. So if you wouldn't mind taking that up with this position.
Okay.
Okay.
She's not in the courtroom. We're gonna have to do her when someone go to intake because she's having medical issues.
Okay.
You can have a seat. Come on, Mr. Hicks.
Okay.
In position 5, Ms. Burgos, she will require an interpreter, and I would like a breakout room before we start her hearing.
The interpreter is online.
This Spanish.
Yes, Spanish, Judge.
Okay.
Position 10 is next, Mr. Hicks.
This is 23 CR 004675Y, Claude Hicks, charged with 1 count of battery, pretrial.
12 total, 04 probation violation, 03 probation violation. That's it.
Dave?
Your Honor, this incident happened July 24th, 2023 at 3 Fairburn Road Southwest in Atlanta. Officers responded and spoke with victim Nathan Brown. Mr. Brown stated the defendant, who he only knows as Stick Man, struck him in the back of the head with his walking stick. The defendant claimed he struck Mr. Brown after he saw Mr. Brown walking toward him with a knife. However, for whatever reason, the officers, I assume because there was no evidence to that, did not place Mr. Brown under arrest that we know of. The officers also observed a visible laceration to the back of Mr. Brown's head. We were not able to get in contact with Mr. Brown because we just simply had the information contained within the warrant. The bond is currently set at $10,000 surety bond. Due to the defendant's lack of history since 2004, the state is agreeable to reducing that to a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Nathan Brown. Stay away from 3 Fairburn Road Southwest. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Although I do not see him on the Zoom, I would like to sound for Mr. Nathan.
All right, Mr. Nathan Brown. Nathan Brown. No. Go ahead, Ms. Woodbury.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hicks, he's originally from Columbus, Georgia, but he's been in the Atlanta area since the 80s. His background in terms of employment is in the culinary field. He actually went to culinary school. He has worked in the kitchen at Kimberly Clark as a catering supervisor. He is residentially challenged at the moment, Judge, and he does not have the money to afford a bond. Judge, our position in this case is what Mr. Hicks told law enforcement, that Mr. Brown came at him with a knife first, and that any action Mr. Hicks took was in self-defense. Judge, his last arrest was 19 years ago. And again, he can't afford a bond, so we would ask for a signature bond today.
All right. Excuse me. I will order a $3,500 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 3 Fairburn Road Southwest. No further contact with Nathan Brown. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. All right.
Thank you.
Position 12, Montero.
Hello.
Your Honor, can you give me the amount of that bond again?
That was 3,500.
Okay, I thought you said 3,500. I just want to make sure.
Okay. All right, is this the case we need the interpreter for?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
This is
no.
Mike Montero.
Okay, number 12, okay. This is 23 CR 004687C. Mike Montero, charged with 1 count of battery family violence, pretrial.
Yeah. He got 7 total. All he got is DUI, from what I see.
7 DUIs, okay.
No.
Oh,
All he has is DUI. He's on probation for
Conviction.
that. Like most.
thank you.
He don't have any
Okay.
violence and nothing like that. But he does have a hold out of
DeKalb County.
yeah, probation violation. It was
I
from
apologize.
2021 though. So yeah. That's it.
All right, thank
All
you.
right. But that was my bad. I guess I mistake on though.
Thank
That's
you.
All right.
Stay.
And Your Honor, his last offense was a conviction in 2020 for DUI. This happened in July 28th, 2023 at 115 Pine Club Lane in Johns Creek. The defendant stated that he and his brother were in a physical altercation. Mr. Guevara, who is the brother of the defendant, Antonio Guevara, stated that he and his brother were in a physical altercation over in a verbal altercation over money and a dog. Mr. Guevara stated that the defendant struck him in the left cheek. They went to the ground. The defendant continued to hit him, but did not try to hit him, but did not connect with any punches. Augusta Perazaman, who is the mother of the two, I believe, stated that she saw the defendant punch Guevara in the face and that the defendant then pushed Guevara to the ground, causing Guevara to hit the corner of the fireplace with his upper left back. Mr. Guevara had a slight mark on his left cheek, redness on the back of his neck, and a red spot on his upper left back. We did have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Guevara. He stated he will not be here on the Zoom and I do not see him. He stated that they do not reside together. They do have a DV history, and he also stated that the defendant has a drug problem. He further confirmed the events of the warrant and stated although he is not afraid of the defendant, their mother is, and she is in the process of getting a TPO. He stated he would like no contact, a drug evaluation, anger management, and stay away from his home, which I will place in the chat. So the state is asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Mr. Antonio Guevara, stay away from the address, which I will place in the chat, in Cumming, Georgia, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, 1 day anger awareness. And if he is to make that bond, that he be released only to the Cobb County hold. That's all for the state.
All right. PD Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor, they're brothers. My sons have fought over much less. And he has no violent history. He's going to, if the court grants the signature of bond that we're going to ask for, because he is a master barber, we are going to ask, he can go and live with his girlfriend. He's from Atlanta. He went to high school up in North Fulton, and just, like the court to just consider their brothers.
And Your Honor, the state would like the court to consider that the mother is apparently going to seek a TPO because she has her own concerns. So there's something going on in this house that extends past just brothers fighting.
Yes, but they never had the mother speak to them. They never spoke directly to the mother. So I don't know how many mothers would actually get that. So I just want the court to take that with a grain of salt, because it is here. It's going to be double hearsay now.
And this is the same mother who reported to police what she observed, which was the defendant attack.
Yeah, but the brothers.
She
Okay.
didn't. She told the police what happened.
So, but they're still brothers.
Okay. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. And with that surety bond, I'm going to order a stay away from 115 Pine Club Lane and any other address where the defendant may reside or where he may be. I'm going to order no further contact with Antonio Guevara. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or bonds guns while on bond. Okay. I don't think, is there anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor. I did put the other address in the chat to the litigation manager.
Okay. All right, that'll conclude this case.
All right, next case, Judge, position 5.
Aye.
And Judge, I'm sorry, but I would request to speak to my client with the interpreter privately before we start.
Oh, you did say that with position 5, yes. Can we get a breakout? Sorry, Ms. Lewis. I know you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I just need to know what room we need to go into the breakout. Where's the Spanish interpreter person at? I mean, the defendant. I see you, I'm sorry.
The position 5 do not need a Spanish interpreter.
Position 5, is it Burgos Rodriguez?
When I spoke to her, she indicated that Spanish is her first language, and while she understands English, she doesn't understand everything and is more comfortable with an interpreter. So I just wanted to err on the side of caution and make sure she fully understands everything.
Is she the one in the jail court iPhone?
Yes.
I guess we're waiting for an answer from her.
Está con el nombre iPhone en la cárcel.
Right, but we don't know that if she's connected, can she hear us?
Yeah, she can hear you.
¿Puede
Yeah.
escucharme, señora o señorita Burgos?
Sí, sí.
Yes, she can hear.
Okay, I just put them in the breakout room and then they go from there and then come back. Is that okay?
Okay,
Thank
Okay.
you.
Position 13, Mr. Mohammed.
this is 23 CR 004678F. Mr. Mohammed, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
24 total. Last arrest was on the 3rd of this month for trespass. You're on probation for trespass and damage to property, loitering and prowling. That's 21 CR 004698C. They gave him 12 months back in April. He had a failure to appear from this year, 2021 trespass, 2016 disorderly conduct conviction, 2012 and 13 probation, and a 2011 carrying deadly weapon at a gathering conviction. State.
All right,
Yes, and Your Honor, he was also convicted on 23 CR 004152G for criminal trespass on July 18th, 2023, which was about 11 days ago. And he was placed on suspended probation. As part of the suspension, he was to stay away from 750 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, where this incident happened 11 days later, and to stay away from the premises of Timothy Olive, which is what we're back again for 11 days later. So this offense happened on July 28th, 2023 at 4:45 a.m. at 750 Piedmont Avenue in Atlanta. Officers spoke with Timothy Olive, who stated that the defendant was sleeping on the porch of his residence, which is a private residence. Olive had previous encounters with him and stated the defendant was issued a verbal and a written warning prior to this. Officers then spoke to the defendant, who stated he was sleeping there because he had nowhere else to go and that he knew about the criminal trespass warrants and, well, at that point, convictions. We are showing that the defendant on both the 21 CR case and the 23 CR case, both of those involved Mr. Olive's residence. So we're at the third time, 10 days after he was released from the previous two cases. The case in 2021, he pled guilty on April 18th, 2023, then got picked up for that 23 CR 004152G case, where he was just released on July 18th, then picked up again 10 days later. So we've had 3 visits out to this residence, 3 criminal trespasses. 2 of them he's pled to. One of them he's currently on probation on, the other he's on suspended probation. But either way, all of them have the condition to stay away from this house and stay away from Mr. Olive. I am not sure at this point what is going on. The state is going to recommend a social worker, as well as potentially we can reach out to PAD to see if there's any services that can be given here, because I think something else is happening and I don't know what that is. The state, there is a preset $1,000 surety bond. At this point, he's violated his probation. So we'd ask that it remain as set, that he stay away from this address, 750 Piedmont Avenue Northeast, have no further contact with Timothy Olive. And we, again, are requesting a social worker. And it does not look like Mr. Olive is here in court.
okay. All right, Ms. Melnick.
Yes, Your Honor. My client has significant ties to the community. He actually lives in Ellenwood, Georgia. He was asleep on the premises. He knows that he is not supposed to be there. I said, I don't know what word you don't understand, but we can't go back there. And he knows it. He's going to go back to Ellenwood, where he resides with his family. So we would ask, since he is unemployed, it would be tantamount to no bond. And we are asking for $1,000 signature bond.
All right, I'm going to leave the bond set at the $1,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stay away from 750 Piedmont Avenue Southeast. I'm going to order stay away, or I'm sorry, no further contact with Mr. Timothy Olive. And see if the social worker can get to him. And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
And Your
That'll
Honor,
conclude that.
with Ms. Melnick's consent, I would like to reach out to PAD and MMHC to see if
In the
they're-
public, he is not qualified for a mental health court. We're not going to just push everyone over there. I'm the public defender that's assigned to that court.
Well, I've been also asking Ms. Corley for any references for services, not just to put them in the court.
Okay.
So we're also
no mental health-
utilizing this to see if there's any services that can be offered. But if you would rather he not have those services, I completely understand.
Not through the mental health court. He just doesn't qualify.
And what about social worker can?
Yeah, I have no objection to social worker of PAD.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Deputy Falk.
Position 14. Mr. Tyrus.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004682A, Jarvis Parish, charged with 1 count of simple assault, family violence, pretrial.
This is 10th arrest, 2017 trespass. 2017, 2012, 2011 possession of marijuana conviction. Yeah, the 08 battery DVD. It was dismissed though. That's it.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened July 27th, 2023 at 1155 La Vista Road, Northeast in Atlanta. Officers, okay, do we have, before I get started with this case, because I've fallen for this once before, who's handling this one? Because I didn't know if Ms. McLeod is handling it before we get started. Okay, great. I didn't want to get started and then find out that the lawyer who's handling it is
right.
available. All right, so officer spoke with Miss Jacqueline Taylor at that address. Miss Taylor said she was in her room. The defendant entered. He was upset about a court case. She tried to push him out of the room. The verbal argument continued in the kitchen, and that he began swinging at her, but made no contact with her. The defendant then pushed a glass off a counter, and Miss Taylor said she cut her hand when she tried to catch the cup. Both of them are roommates. I will point out that Miss Taylor was released on a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, was given no further contact with Mr. Parrish and a stay away from the La Vista address, which is Mr. Parrish's address, not Miss Taylor's. They are roommates, but Mr. Parrish actually owns or rents that location. To that end, the state is going to recommend a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services for Mr. Parrish. No further contact with Miss Taylor, 1 day anger awareness, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We are not asking for a stay away since Miss Taylor has already been ordered to stay away, and that will put them in essentially the same position.
All right.
Ms. Falk, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what your bond recommendation was.
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Okay, we are okay with that.
Okay. All right, I will order the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order the 1 day anger awareness course. I'm going to order a stay away. Oh, I'm sorry, no stay away.
Yeah.
Right, no stay away.
No, and she's staying away.
Right.
That's
I'm going to order just the no further contact then with Jacqueline Taylor.
That would be fine. No.
And no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Nothing
All
for the
right.
state.
What was that bond?
That was $3,000 SOB pretrial per judge.
Position 15, Seabrook.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004683Y, Markel Seabrook, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, pretrial.
4th arrest, 2022 assault and battery dismissed, 2022 trespass damage to property conviction, and a 2023 trespass arrest.
All right. State,
Yes, Your Honor, if you can just give me a moment, because I had something different as far as his history was concerned. So if you can just give me one moment to just look
Okay.
at the open. Do you know where those cases were from, pretrial?
I don't know. They just be putting stuff on here. Let me look it up.
Hold
This is
on.
Markel.
everybody.
Yeah, Markel Seabrook. Because I think I was showing that, yeah, that this is his first arrest. And I looked in Fulton County's case manager. I didn't see anything either.
Hold on. Let me see. No, this history is out of Virginia. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is
Okay.
Virginia history. And
Okay.
they got a couple of holds, but they Virginia holds. But yeah, this is his first Fulton County arrest. First Georgia arrest.
Got it. I didn't see a Virginia County history, Virginia history. All right. So this happened July 25th, 2023 at 3372 Peachtree Road Northeast, which is the Icon Buckhead. The officer, who's a courtesy officer, was alerted to a criminal trespass. The defendant was standing on the steps of the property, admitted he didn't know anyone that stays there. And then the officer sent the management sent the officer a picture of the defendant laying down in the elevator room. The defendant at that point was given a criminal trespass warning. On July 28th, they observed the same defendant on the property after being given that previous trespass warning on July 25th. There's currently $1,000 surety bond set on this. We're agreeable to reducing that to $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from Icon Buckhead at 3372 Peachtree Road Northeast, Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right. TV Melnick.
I want to argue just to argue, but you know me. But yes, we are agreeable with that. I do want to take just a second to pause. And Mr. Howard is with pretrial is perfect, but just want to note that he was the work of someone else. The GCIC wasn't correct. When we just need to be mindful of that going forward. Okay, and we have no objection to what the state recommended.
Okay.
The GCIC is correct.
You were perfect.
Okay, thank you.
I started that. Did I not say that?
Yes. All right. I'm going to order the $1,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order that Mr. Seabrook stay away from the Icon Buckhead. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And that is it.
And Your Honor, I still have the female. They were unable to locate her this morning.
Which one?
Oh gosh.
It's still in a breakout session with the Spanish interpreter. She's gonna have to hold up.
Okay. They were transporting her from Alpharetta to Fulton, and so I have not even had an opportunity to speak to her. And I know she needs an interpreter.
But isn't she in there with Ms. Woodbury?
That's the second one. This is
the second one. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Gotcha.
Mine is
Position 2, maybe? I don't know.
no, it's Molina, Vicky Molina.
Oh,
Found it.
Just to put on the record while we're waiting, position 11, Jefferunta Lawrence bonded out, as well as position 17, Bershane Tassau. Lawrence bonded out on a $600 surety bond through Free at Last, and Tassau bonded out on a $5,000 surety bond through Second Chance Bonding Company.
all right. Thank you. $17 was how much bond was the bond? On Tassau?
We show a $5,000 surety bond through, I believe that was the Second Chance Bonding Company.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Honor, I believe, I'm not sure if we're waiting for the jail court iPhone or for the courtroom, but I believe Miss Woodbury is back from the breakout.
I
Yeah.
see that, and then I have another person in the chair.
That's the code cross defendant with the lady.
Oh, okay, so those are the two cases, okay. Which one would you like to do first? Doesn't matter. And in the chair, we have Mr.
Mr. Gray, position 9.
Mr. Gray. Okay, let's do him first. This is 23 CR 004688B, Ramesh Gray. Charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and a 2nd count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Pretrial told me first arrest. State, go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred July 27th of this year at 547 Form Walt Street Southwest. And this is where officers spoke with defendant Rodriguez, who informed them that her and her husband, the defendant, had been in an argument and had been in several disputes recently and she said that in these disputes, the defendant becomes violent. She also stated that her and the defendant had been in several physical altercations in the recent months, and due to her medication, she becomes violent. She also told officers that earlier that day, the police came out and they were unable to establish probable cause. And after that, after the officers left, the defendant became upset and he pushed her several times, which worsened her pre-existing condition from a breast cancer surgery. And so defendant Rodriguez then told officers that the defendant was outside smoking a cigarette and that the defendant Rodriguez came to the door yelling at this defendant, and she was yelling because he had the door open and he was letting bugs in, and that she didn't want homeless people to enter their residence. They both told that story to the officers. And so then defendant Rodriguez slammed the door on defendant Gray's arms. Defendant Gray put his arm in the door to stop defendant Rodriguez from shutting him out of the house. And so defendant Rodriguez continued to slam the door on his arm. Officers noted swelling on his forearm because of that. And then defendant Rodriguez told officers that she went to the bedroom and she locked the door. And then defendant Gray broke in the bedroom and got on top of her and pinned her down and was yelling at her. Officers noted bruising and marks on her, Your Honor. And the couple's daughter, initial JP, was present during this incident. And she told officers that she ran out of the house to get help for her mom. She stated that she didn't see everything that happened, but she saw part of the altercation. And she told officers that she was in the back room and she was afraid. And she said that the defendant grabbed her arm and brought her back inside of the residence. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond. We're asking for a 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Ms. Rodriguez, defendant Rodriguez, and to stay away from 547 Form Walt Street Southwest, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
And what's that breakdown you're recommending?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I misspoke. I meant to say it's a $4,000 surety bond, $3,000 for the battery, family violence, and $1,000 for the cruelty to children charge.
Okay.
Your Honor, my client is 32 years old. As pretrial has noted, he's never been arrested in his entire life. My client tells me that he and the co-defendant, one of the cross-defendant, are married. They've been married for approximately a year and a half, and they live together. He tells me that he does love and care very deeply for his wife, and that was the reason why he has been her primary caretaker since she had her surgery for breast cancer. He denies that he put his hand on her at all. He explained that his wife was she didn't want bugs coming into the house, and she said she had a concern because there might be, they lived near to homeless people. So he was outside grabbing a cigarette and she locked the door and his hand got caught up in the door, his arm, and there was interest to his arm. But he says that his wife had no interest because he would never put his hand on her, given the fact that he wouldn't anyway, but just especially given the fact that she just had surgery a few weeks ago and he's been a primary caretaker. He also tells me that the child was not there when they were having the argument. The child was outside and he went and he got the child. I would ask my client his signature bond, Your Honor, given that he has absolutely no history. And we would also ask for no further violent contact because he tells me that he's Miss Rodriguez's primary caretaker until she recovers from her surgery. And he believes that she feels the same way about contact between them. They don't have any history of violence, Your Honor, nothing further.
All right. I'm going to order that $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order a one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. And there was a request for the stay away from the 547 Formwalk Street Southwest.
That was from the prosecution, Your Honor, but as I was explaining, they are married and he tells me that he's been our caretaker. She's not fully recovered yet from her surgery, Your Honor.
Yes,
And he
Your Honor.
believes
The
that she
state's
feels the
I'm
same
sorry,
way.
Ms. McCall.
Okay.
The state's
All right.
concern is just that there hasn't been an adequate cooling off period. This just happened on the 27th and today's date is the 29th.
And Judge, I have some additional information about the residence as pertains to my client. And I don't know if we should be having the interpreter interpret this.
Oh, I'm
Yo
sorry.
tengo
Right.
más información acerca de mi cliente.
And I don't see my client on the iPhone. I just want to make sure she's okay.
No la veo. Oh, ahí está.
Okay.
So Judge, Miss Borgos, she actually tells me that they are not married. She tells me that this address, so she's originally from Puerto Rico. She's been in Atlanta for 6 years.
Mi cliente me dice que la señora Burgos que no están casados y ella es de Puerto Rico y ha estado en Atlanta durante 6 años.
Judge, she tells me she has no family or friends, nowhere else to go, and that her name is on the lease.
Ella cuenta que no tiene familia ni ningún otro lugar a donde ir y el contrato de alquiler está a nombre de ella.
She is actively recovering from a series of 3 surgeries related to her cancer, the most recent one being 10 days ago.
Ella está activamente recuperándose de 3 cirugías debido a cáncer y la tercera fue realizada hace 10 días.
She had another surgery, she tells me June 22nd, 2023, and the first one was in October. And she is having medical issues in the jail due to these complications from surgery.
Ella tuvo otra cirugía el 22 de junio del 2023 y otra en octubre, en octubre del 2022. Y ella me dice que tiene problemas en la cárcel debido a todas las complicaciones de estas cirugías.
Prior to this, she was working in Publix in the deli. So Judge, we would ask for a signature bond, but we would ask that she be allowed to return to the residence because she doesn't have anywhere else to go.
Antes ella trabajaba para Publix y pedimos por favor que se le otorgue una fianza bajo firma y se le permita regresar a la residencia ya que el contrato de alquiler está a su nombre.
All right, I will order with Mr. Gray, and I guess we're trying to hear both cases almost together. So I don't know if there's anything else before I give a ruling on Mr. Gray. Let me go ahead and and call her case and hear that, and then I can, after
Creo que
I've heard.
necesitamos escuchar estos dos casos a la vez, por eso permítame llamar el caso de ella, si yo puedo entonces dar una orden en ambos casos.
Okay, and so that's 23 CR 00467B, 77B.
23CR 004677B.
All right, state, are there any other facts that you want to add for Ms. Burgos Rodriguez's case?
No
Si la
new
fiscalía
fact,
quiere agregar algo más acerca de la señora Burgos en este caso.
no new facts, Your Honor. Would you like for me or pretrial to put the defendant's criminal history on the record?
¿Usted quiere que la
You
fiscalía
can tell
o
us.
los servicios de previos al juicio que lo haga? Usted puede decir.
I'm sure pretrial will let you help him. Go ahead.
I'm showing 3 cycles, Your Honor, and a simple battery and willful obstruction conviction out of Gwinnett County in 2021, where the defendant did a pretrial diversion program.
Veo que hay 3 ciclos, uno de golpes y lesiones simples en el estado de Gwinnett en el 2021, en donde tuvo que la acusada pasar por los servicios, programas de servicios previos al juicio.
Yes, so the facts are the same. The state's recommendation for defendant Rodriguez is, let me go back to it. That's Rodriguez. I'm sorry.
Para la sentencia para el señor, recomendada para la acusada Rodríguez,
It's a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with defendant Gray, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
se recomienda una fianza de $3,000 bajo garantía, un día de clase de concientización de la ira, también no tener contacto con el acusado Grace y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas.
Okay. I'm a little concerned on obviously the history with Ms. Burgos Rodriguez.
Estoy un poco inquieta acerca de los antecedentes con la señora Burgos Rodríguez.
But let me first order in Mr. Gray's case.
Pero primero voy a dar la orden para el caso del señor Grace.
Is a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Va a ser a una fianza de $4,000 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
1-day anger awareness course.
Un día de clase de concientización de la ira.
Stay away from 547 Farmwalk Street Southwest.
Y debe mantenerse alejado de la dirección 547 Farmwall Street Southwest.
And no further contact with the victim, Ms. Burgos Rodriguez. So make sure there's been an ample cooling down period.
No más contacto con alguno, con la señora Burgos Rodríguez, para poder asegurarse que puede haber un tiempo para que se apacigüen los problemas.
So Mr. Gray will need to find somewhere else to stay, although I do understand he's been the caregiver, and I'm assuming she can find someone else to hopefully take care of her, because it cannot be Mr. Gray.
El señor Gray va a tener que quedarse en otro lugar porque entiendo que la ha estado cuidando a la señora, pero ella tendrá que buscarse a alguien más que la asista.
And then as to Ms. Burgos Rodriguez, I'm going to order $3,000 signature bond through the jail.
Was $3,000, Your Honor?
Yes, $3,000.
Okay, thank you. Yo voy a ordenar para la señora Burgos Rodríguez una fianza bajo firma de $3,000 a través de la cárcel.
And I'm going to again order no further contact with Mr. Ramesh Gray.
También le prohíbo el contacto con el señor Ramesh Gray.
I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond in both cases, if I didn't say it for the first one.
Y también queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras estén bajo fianza para los dos cargos, por las dudas si no lo dije anteriormente.
And I don't know if there's anything else I need to take up, counsel. That would be it.
¿Hay algo más que necesito decir?
Your Honor, may my client have a one-time police escort back to the location so that he can retrieve his belongings?
¿Puede mi cliente
Yes.
tener una escolta de la policía para que pueda retirar sus pertenencias personales? Sí.
Your Honor, are we doing the one-day anger awareness course?
For Mr. Gray through pretrial, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
El señor Gray tiene que tomar el curso de concientización de la ira a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
And I believe that's it.
Creo que eso es todo.
Thank you, Judge.
Gracias,
All right.
señoría.
Thank you, Your Honor. That
Somebody
concludes
give me
the
that address
business before the court today. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good weekend.
Can
Thank
somebody
you.
give me
Interpreted
the
is
address in the chat for me, please? The stay away address, please.
I'm sorry.
The stay away address. For this.
Oh, the stay away address. That's the 547 Farm Walk.
Yes, that's
Street.
correct.
And as much as I love our Madam Interpreter, I forgot to swear her in today, but she's sworn and she's done well.
Thank you, Your
I'm
Honor.
trying to-
Sorry, I'll remind you next time. I forgot to.
Right. She had
Have
a
a good
large
day.
calendar, right? Sometimes if I'm trying to move, because we have a large calendar.
She's
But
still have
thank
another
you, thank
case,
you
I
for
think,
your
Judge.
time.
You're
I'm sorry?
welcome.
No, Your Honor,
think
I
she
still
still
need
have
her
another case.
for my client.
Oh, we still have one more case.
Yes,
I can't
Oh.
let you go yet. One more.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm pressing all my buttons and I'm like.
I forgot you said that. Thank you for reminding me.
Ready for position 8, Glover, so we can do the Spanish interpretation after that, so they can go.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004648A. Giorgio Glover, charge of 1 count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Pretrial.
Got 17 total. He was arrested on the 21st of this month. Window tint, possession of marijuana. He got some open CP cases. So he got no bond on those. So that's it.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So actually, in the 23 CR 004554A case, that's a simple battery case. The defendant received a $10,000 surety bond and to stay away from the Allen Temple Court Apartments. He got this on the 24th, July 24th of this year. The other case is a cruelty to children and battery family violence case. It's 23 CP 220400. He didn't receive a bond for that one. But, Your Honor, this case occurred April 14th of this year at 3154 Hickman Drive. And this is where officers were patrolling the Allen Temple apartment complex, the same apartments where he has a stay away order to stay away from. Well, I'm sorry, this happened before he got that stay away, so disregard that. But it happened at the Allen Temple apartment complex, and officers observed the defendant driving a white SUV. The SUV passed the officers, and so then the officers turned on their license sirens, and the defendant didn't immediately come to a stop, but he eventually did. And when the defendant stopped the car, he got out of the car and began running away from officers. The defendant was not captured. He remained at large until the July 21st of this year. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right.
Judge, we would be in agreement with the $1,000 signature bond. Mr. Glover's been in Atlanta his whole life. He does have 5 kids. He was working for a moving company called 2 Men and a Truck. As the court heard, he has other cases going on. So we're in agreement with the signature bond on this case.
Okay. I'm going to order that $1,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away from 3154 Hickman Drive, which is the Allen Temple Apartments, that complex. I'm assuming he doesn't live there. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I think that's it, unless council has anything else. Nope.
Judge, I
Alright.
can't tell, sorry, I can't tell if he had a question for me or not.
Oh, Mr. Glover, did you have a question about your bond or the conditions?
No, not the bond. Is I stay out there. And
Oh, you do stay in the Allen Temple Apartments.
I was wondering, like, what I supposed to do when I leave here? Like,
Oh, Your Honor, the state in this case, we're not requesting a stay away order, but the judge in the simple battery case where he received a $10,000 surety bond already put a stay away order from the Allen Temple Apartments. So he has that.
Yes, Mr. Glover, you already have a stay away. So I don't want you to get arrested on the other one or this one. So you will have to find somewhere else to stay. I can remove my stay away, but it doesn't matter because you have a stay away on the other bond condition. So I want to make sure you're aware of that. Talk to your attorney with that about that after you get out. Because you do have a signature bond today, but you need to go very carefully and do not return to the Allen Temple Apartments until it can be sorted out. Okay?
And
All
Your
right.
Honor, I would ask that we leave the stay away in place on our order as well, because what I don't want is there to be confusion between two judicial orders.
One saying yes, one saying no.
Correct.
Yeah, I could see that. So I'm going to have to do that, Mr. Hickman, and your attorney will know that. Obviously, she knows she can file modifications on both if we need to and find out more as we investigate a little more. Okay. All right. Thank you. So was that confusing enough, Ms. Lewis?
No, I figured it out. It's a stay away.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
Mhm.
We're ready for the breakout session in courtroom 2.
Okay.
Okay, who's going in the breakout?
Courtroom 2, Spanish.
I am.
Spanish interpreter, Miss Melvin. Okay, I got you. Hold on.
So where all the women at?
I don't know.
Like number 2, 4, 7?
I guess they're at ACDC, but they haven't come on.
They
we-
waived a lot of.
They
Oh,
did.
appearance.
Oh,
We waived appearance for Miss Cobb, Miss Blunt, and Miss Brown. And also did competency evals.
Judge,
oh, those are the two that I've already signed.
I got one more, Judge. I sent you another one. You should have
Send
3
me
total.
another one?
Yeah,
Okay.
she named Miss Cobb.
For Cobb, okay.
I sent it already to you.
Okay, I probably thought maybe that was the same one.
No, they're all 3. I said, this is another one. I said, number 3.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Let me do that one while I'm sitting here.
And Miss Lewis, you confirmed that you've received all the waivers on those?
Yes, I did. I received yeah, I got Brown, Cobb, and what was the other one? Because I thought Miss Champion was gonna be here, but I formed 2, but I ended up putting them out. Oh, but it's not 2 of the same. Let's see. It should be a total of 3, right, Miss Woodburn?
Yes, ma'am.
Who name I missed out?
Miss
Oh.
Blunt.
Blunt, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, I got them. All right.
Let's see.
Judge, you wanna do the waive cases? You muted.
Oh, I didn't know I pressed that by accident. I can. I was looking for, oh, there it is. I didn't see that other MH order that she sent me. I can do those. The first one is position 2 is Blunt. That's 23 CR 004679G. Is it Blunt Alcantara? Charge of 1 count of criminal trespass. Pretrial, what you got?
It's a fifth arrest, 2016, 2 counts of ag assault, first offender, 2012 shoplifting, 2011 probation, 2009 theft by taking, obstruction conviction. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, this case occurred yesterday at the Abernathy Towers located at 1059 Oglethorpe Avenue. And this is where the defendant had been evicted from the location since 2022. And the defendant is aware that she's not supposed to be on the premises, but continues to return. And so as officers were walking inside of apartment 203, they observed the defendant in the main bathroom. Officers asked the defendant to leave several times, but she refused. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for a stay away at 1059 Oglethorpe Avenue. Oglethorpe, sorry, and as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
And there's no, and did you give me a victim there or no?
Yeah, there's no victim. Well, I guess the victim is the apartment complex, the Abernathy Towers, but it's to stay away from the apartments.
Okay.
Judge, we're in agreement with that signature bond. We would just ask that she be allowed 1 trip with law enforcement should she need it. She does tell me she's on disability, Judge. I know she doesn't have many funds.
Your Honor, the state would object to the one-time escort because the warrant states that the defendant's been evicted from the premises since last year. So I doubt that she would need to go back there. And she's not supposed to be there anyways, and she keeps returning.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to deny the one-time escort to return, but and what was the amount? I didn't write it down.
It's a $1,000 signature.
All right, $1,000 signature bond through the jail.
Through pretrial services.
I'm sorry, pretrial.
You have an address? Where she
Yeah,
live?
I was going to say, how's she going to be able to report? Is she residentially challenged or not?
She is, Judge.
Well, we can leave it. We can make it a $1,000 surety bond.
Yeah, because I was wondering how you guys gonna do that if y'all let her go and y'all put in an eval for her to get conducted at the jail. That's not gonna happen.
Right. So because of that, we can make it a $1,000 surety bond.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I'll do $1,000 surety bond. Got the MH, and stay away from 1059 Oglethorpe Avenue.
So this case needs to go on a competency calendar instead of the SAP. Is that what you're asking, Ms. Woodbury?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we have to give time for the eval to be conducted, and that takes time. So it will have to be out to August. I'll give it the next August the 17th instead of August the 10th. That'd be 3 weeks. That should be enough time. So instead of 2 weeks, it'll be 3 weeks. We set to August the 17th for the Copper County.
Okay.
And it's $1,000 surety and a stay away.
Yes.
Okay, and I got the MHET. Okay.
All right. And the next one that we have is position 4, Janelle Brown.
That's correct.
Okay. That's 23 CR 004676J, charge at 1 count of theft by taking, pretrial.
I got 10 total. Last arrest was in June. Possession of drug-related objects. 2022 trespass. 2022 criminal damage to property theft by receiver. That's open in our Superior Court. 22 CP 210267. 2014 possession of cocaine first offender. 2020 trespass conviction and a 05 simple battery conviction.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred July 24th of this year at 586 Formwalt Street. And this is where Miss Evelyn Clemens gave officers her ring camera footage that showed the defendant walking on her porch, taking her mail from her mailbox and then leaving. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. We're asking for a stay away from 586 Formwalt Street, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And Judge, I would also like to tell you that the defendant has an open criminal damage to property case and theft by receiving case. That case number is 22 CP 210267. The defendant received a $2,500 split bond through pretrial services. She got this on June 30th of last year.
All right, Mr. Woodbury.
Judge, we did submit a request for an eval on this one. We would just defer to the court.
Okay. I'll order the $1,000 surety bond so we can make sure we get that done. And then the stay away from 586 Formwalt Street. 1,000
No
surety.
further, well, there's no further contact with the victim or anything.
Oh,
There
Did I
has been
get
no further contact with Miss Evelyn Clemens.
okay. No further contact with the victim. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond.
And this is going to be reset to the August 17th Copper County.
All right. And the next one is, and then that's coming back to you, Ms. Lewis. That one's done.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And that's position 7. Ms. Cobb, Sherry Cobb. And that's 23 CR 004680A. Charge at 1 count of simple battery. Pretrial.
It's a 9th arrest. 2015 trespass. That was out of Tennessee. 2008 public intoxication. 2008 domestic assault conviction. That's it.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at Grady Hospital at 80 Jesse Hill Drive. And this is where Miss Brooke Brown, a nurse practitioner at Grady, told officers that she was checking in patients. And when she came across the defendant, she asked the defendant what was the nature of her visit, and the warrant stated that she noticed the defendant had a wristband, which meant that the defendant had recently been discharged from the psych unit. The defendant then told Ms. Brown that she had gangrene. And so Ms. Brown told the defendant that that's not contagious. And then the defendant got out of her chair and spit in Ms. Brown's face. Ms. Brown told officers that she was tired of tired of patients assaulting her, and that she wanted to press charges against the defendant. Our office was able to speak to Ms. Brown today. She let us know that unfortunately she won't be in attendance to the Zoom hearing because she's attending a funeral, but she let us know that she is a nurse practitioner at Grady, and she confirmed the events in the warrant, except she says that she didn't actually see a wristband on the defendant, Your Honor. Ms. Brown also let us know that she believes that the defendant might be suffering from some MH issues, Your Honor. She also let us know that she doesn't want any contact with the defendant, and she wants the defendant to stay away. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services for the defendant to be released to MH. We're asking for no further contact with Ms. Brown, an MHET, a social worker visit, and as well as to stay away from Grady Hospital unless it's for medical reasons. As we're also asking for a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons provision unless the drugs are prescribed by the doctor.
Okay. Woodbury?
Judge, I did request an eval on this, so I would just request that the bond be the same as the other two cases to be consistent, the 1,000. That's our only request at this time.
Okay. Now order the $1,000 surety bond. Stay away from Grady at 80 Jesse Hill Jr. Drive unless she's receiving treatment. And even if she is, she's got to not commit any acts of violence against the workers or employees there. And no further contact with Ms. Brown. Sure, Ms. Brown will not probably have any contact with her. She doesn't have to anyway. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And then we've got the MH order. All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What do we have left? Is that position 6? In the chair?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. This is 23 CR 004681E. Is it Vicky Camargo Molina?
Este es 23CR004681E, Vicky Camargo Molina,
Charged with 1 count of simple battery.
con un cargo de golpes y lesiones simples.
Pre-trial.
First,
Es
First
el
arrest.
primer arresto.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred December 30th of 2022 at 209 Caswick Trace in Johns Creek. And this is where Mr. Carlos Canelon, that's spelled Canelon.
Su señoría, este incidente ocurrió el 30 de diciembre del 2022 a las 20:09 y el señor en donde resurge el señor Carlos Canelon,
where Mr. Canelon spoke with officers and advised that the defendant came home and followed him into the bathroom.
él indicó a los oficiales que él vino a la acusada a la casa y lo siguió a él cuando iba al baño.
And while he was washing his face, the defendant struck him multiple times in the face, including his eye.
Y mientras él estaba lavándose la cara, la acusada lo golpeó en la cara varias veces, inclusive en el área del ojo.
And then he stated that the defendant struck him because his daughter was crying when the defendant came back to the residence.
Él dijo que la acusada lo golpeó porque la hija de la acusada estaba llorando cuando ella volvió a la casa.
And then when officers spoke with the defendant, she admitted to provoking Mr. Canelon by slapping him in the forehead in an effort to get answers about the child.
La policía habló con la acusada, quien admitió que lo había provocado al darle una palmada en la frente a él para hacer lo que contestara.
Our office was not able to speak to Mr. Canelon, and I don't believe he is on Zoom, but I would still like to sound for him.
Los oficiales no pudieron hablar con el señor Canelón, pero quisiera llamarlo. Señor Canelón, ¿está en la plataforma?
All right, Mr. Is it Cantalone? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct.
I don't need that.
Don't think he's on the
¿Cómo
line.
es?
Go ahead.
Está presente, señor Carlos. Por favor, prenda su cámara si está presente, señor Carlos. I don't see it.
Nope.
So the state's recommendation is a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. We're asking for an FVIB course.
What
No
is that? Family
um,
violence?
Yes, family violence intervention program.
Thank you.
No further contact with Mr. Canelon, and to stay away from 209 Caswick Trace in Johns Creek, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Lo que la fiscalía recomienda es $5,000 de fianza bajo firma o no monetaria a través de los servicios previos al juicio, que tome un curso de intervención de violencia familiar, no tener más contacto con el señor Carlos Canelón y también mantenerse alejada del 205 Caswick Trail en Johns Creek, Georgia. I'm sorry. Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
All right. Ms. Melnick?
Yes, Your Honor, just to set the record straight. Actually, if you notice, this took place on 12/30/22. Actually, my client was the one who called the police that night, and because he punched her he had hit the daughter. That's her child, 6 years old at the time. And
En realidad, el día que ocurrió en diciembre del 30 del 2022, fue mi cliente la que llamó a la policía debido a que él había golpeado a la hija de ella en la cabeza.
After this incident, they have totally separated. She lives in Sandy Springs and he lives in Duluth.
Después de este incidente, ellos se separaron totalmente. Ella vive en Sandy Springs y él vive en Duluth.
They have one 2-year-old son together, and they've been in the Fulton County Family Court for most of this year.
Ellos tienen un hijo de 2 años y este caso ha estado en el Tribunal de la Familia del Condado de Fulton por aproximadamente 1 año.
At that time, this year, the courts are allowing him. They can trade the 2-year-old son every other weekend, and the only other legal contact that they have is by text message.
En este momento, el tribunal ha permitido que se intercambien el hijo de 2 años 2 fines de semana, y el único contacto legal que tienen es a través del mensaje de texto.
And as I stated, this incident allegedly occurred on December 30th. He did not call the police until January 11th, and that's after she had called the police. And the in the probable cause statement, it says, I spoke to the victim over the phone. He didn't even see him in person.
En realidad, como dije, esto ocurrió el 30 de diciembre del 2023, pero él informó a la policía el 11 de enero del 2023. Yo hablé con la víctima por teléfono porque ni siquiera quiso presentarse en persona.
They've already received counseling through family law court, so I have no objection to the $5,000 signature bond, but I am objecting to the FIB because it's already been litigated. I mean, this incident is now 6-7 months old. They've been in the courts. This has been litigated. We're sort of after the fact.
I think your client might have been holding
really-
up her fingers. Is she saying that it was possibly in court for 3 years? I'm not for sure.
No,
She
Your
was
Honor.
holding up 3 fingers.
En
He may be, I
realidad,
think the son's now 3. I think maybe
Oh, the son
now,
is 3.
yeah,
Okay,
the son's
the
now 3.
child
Okay, he
is
was
3.
2 at the time. Sorry.
Okay, that's what
Okay.
she was saying. Sorry.
ok.
No,
Entonces,
they've separated. She doesn't want anything to do with him, and they've gone their own ways. They are, which is what they
ellas se han
should be doing.
separado y cada uno está por su lado.
Go ahead, I think we said too much for the interpreter.
I know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Lo que dijo que este caso con la cuestión del menor ya ha sido litigado, que no debe, no está de acuerdo la abogada con que a usted se la mantenga fuera que tenga que tomar todo ese curso de violencia familiar, porque ya ha sido litigado.
And I guess, you know, and I do hear you, PD Melnick, that they have gone their separate ways, but they still have the child, I guess, they're co-parenting. And I'm assuming if nothing has happened since December, then that could be the clue.
Entiendo que ellos están separados, pero tienen un hijo en común y me asumo que no ha pasado nada desde esa fecha.
Okay. But I do want to make sure that everyone will be safe, even in this attempt at the visitation and the co-parenting.
Creo que todo el mundo va a estar protegido y no va a haber más problema con los asuntos de la crianza del menor y las visitas.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to order the $5,000 signature bond. And I will order that through. I'm going to order that through the jail. I don't know that we need the monitoring through pretrial.
Yo voy a ordenar entonces una multa de $5,000, no monetaria, solo bajo firma, a través de la cárcel. No creo que le haga falta ningún tipo de supervisión de los servicios previos al juicio.
No further violent contact with Carlos Cantalone.
No tiene que haber ningún tipo de contacto violento en absoluto con el señor Carlos Cantalone.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons, guns while on bond.
Y queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
And that's all I'm going to order at this time.
Y eso es todo lo que voy a ordenar ahora.
All right. Good luck to you.
Buena suerte, señora. All right.
All right.
May the interpreter be dismissed, Your Honor?
I think we can let you go.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have
Have
a
a
good
good weekend,
weekend.
Your Honor.
All
You
right,
too.
we're ready to go over the calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We didn't do too bad, did we?
No,
I think you
No.
did good keeping up.
thank you. Okay. Position number 1 is going to be reset further notice. It received a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. Position number 2 is $1,000 surety. It's going to reset to the competency counter for August the 17th. The MHET has been ordered. Position number 3 is a total of a $3,600 SOB through the jail. It's going to be reset further notice. Position number 4 is $1,000 surety. It's going to reset to the competency counter for August the 17th. The MHET has been ordered. Position number 5 is a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Reset further notice. Position number 6 is a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. Reset further notice. Position number 7 is a $1,000 surety bond, reset for the competency counter for August the 17th. A MHT has been ordered. Position number 8 is $1,000 surety, $1,000 SOB through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 9 is a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. We set further notice. Is that per judge or that's just regular, Tucson?
Per judge.
Per judge number 9? Thank you. Position number 10 is a $3,500 signature bond through the jail. We set further notice. Position number 11 was release. Defendant made bond through Free at Last Bonding Company. Position number 12 is a $3,000 surety bond that's going to be reset to the SAP for August the 10th. Position number 13 is a $1,000 surety bond reset to the SAP counter for August the 10th. Position number 14 is a $3,000 SOB through pretrial per judge. That's reset further notice. Position 15 is a $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Reset further notice. Position 16 is a $3,000 surety. Reset for the SAP August the 10th. And 17, defendant was released, made bond through second chance bail bonders. Any questions, any concerns, any corrections?
Nope, think you got it all.
And I would.
All right, everybody, have a good weekend.
Matter.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Judge, I'm about to send those things over. Give me